Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat, and well, this Japanese Larch that I wired up last year in a video, it's somewhere up there. I need to get the wire off, and just a reference, we're around April the sort of 15th, 16th I think, lose track of dates, you know. Got some lovely weeds at the front, so we're going to weed all this out, and got some nice extensions. Probably going to prune those in another few weeks, so but for now all I want to do is get the weeds out, and then I can show you what it's looking like. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. Wow, what a difference once the weeds have been taken off. I've looked at the wire points and there's no obvious scarring or digging in yet. Something that I have to watch. The bigger wire probably going to be alright, certainly until the summer. And we've got some smaller grade wire here, and again probably need to watch that. I'll put a reminder in my bonsai app to have a look at this in probably another 4 weeks. Lots and lots of growth, and you know, it was a bit poorly last year, so I'm quite happy to let this continue to grow out, and I'm going to do my first prune on this, as I say, in a few weeks time. There is an obvious choice I can make though right now. We've got something growing off that way. We really don't want that one right now, so let's just get rid of that. Got another one here that's growing all the way back here. That's just wasted energy. Let's get rid of that. Happy to leave those for now. Again, we've got another one here that's doing the same thing. It's growing back in on itself, so it's never going to be part of the design. I'm never going to wire it, so let's get rid of it. Again, this may well be out of wire. I don't need to take that decision yet. I mean, we've got things up here higher. These are far too long at this stage. And if I'd looked at it probably way back in February when these were just starting to green up, I might well have cut right back then. I missed that window, but don't worry, we'll get to that next year. That is what I call the larch first pruning cycle out of a potential 4. So we'll be waiting till the second one, which, as I say, is going to be probably mid-May. But I'll leave the length because I may well consider wiring this in and creating whatever I want to do with the apex. This is actually really producing some very good, useful, vibrant growth.
You have no idea what you're doing.
So very happy with this. This tree has a number of problems. One of them, I'm caring for it now, is right down here. There's a big, quite bulbous swelling where a low branch is removed. Now, this was a Yamadori tree that came in from Wales in 2015, and there was a great big branch that went off there which got removed, but I'm probably at some point going to have to nibble away with that. It's got a lot of problems actually down there, because you've basically got it's almost like on a lampstand with lots of branches coming out from it. So yeah, some thought will have to go into that, and it may well be that ends up becoming, don't know, ground layer just here. But yeah, so we'll visit this again in a couple of weeks time when we get to see second time to prune Japanese larch. Okay, well, we're back. It's the 6th or 7th of June, and here it is, a little bit longer. Certainly loads of growth to be looking at, and I've had a chance to think about it, and I think when I last spoke about this I had ideas that I might wire these down, some of these down, and bring them down below the level of the pot. And the more I think about it, the more I hate the idea. I think what I'm going to do is do a traditional cut back to appropriate bud points, which means everywhere that I've got some appropriate buds pointing out where I want them, I may look back and bring it right back and just develop it more traditionally. And I think with that in mind, I was thinking about where on earth will this show, and I've literally just done a whole big larch special, so I think we'll follow this through, and either in the autumn time when I'm looking at options, or perhaps even you may even take this through to repot. But do you know how you're going to know? By keeping on watching.
Oh, you are clever.
So let's crack on and do some pruning on this, shall we? Now, I'm sure many of you have watched my larch, and you know I've got a number of videos about how to get the best from your larch. This would count as the second pruning period, and what I'm looking at here is to find buds far enough back on this branch that point in the right direction, and I'm actually going to go we've got there. I might actually just take it back to there. So I want those two to go. We've got this one that's pointing upwards. We don't want any upward pointing growth. So hopefully we get a branch out there, there, and maybe this one. I can create a pad design from that. Now it doesn't preclude wiring, but I want to bring this right back. Same here. I've actually got 1, 2, 3. I might actually just bring that one just a little bit more. And then equally when we look at this one, where it sits, we probably want to just bring it back a bit further. So I'm looking at potentially these two. So we'll cut it back to there and just try and build a pad this way. And I'll go around and I'm going to follow the same line. There's not quite as much growth here, but actually going back, we've got a lower branch just here, comes in off this one here. I'm inclined that really I can't have it going much beyond here, so I'm actually going to be taking advantage of the fact there's 1, 2 buds there. We'll take it to there. I'm going to shoot here. What I need to do is have a look and see where the little juvenile buds are, and we're getting even closer to show you what I mean. There's a little juvenile bud there, another one there, and there. What I'm looking for is there's a bud there. So what I want is I don't want that distance to be too long so that it looks out of proportion with the rest of the internode distances for branches. So I will probably take it to there. Try to avoid slicing through needles. And there it goes. And that will give me growth off there and off the top there. So I'm going to continue to work myself around at the ground level, so to speak, of this, and just bring the profile back a lot. It's interesting because we've got this long length, which is great, except for one thing. You have to go a very, very long way before you actually get that subdivision, and that's a long way out. So unless I was planning to wire that to shorten how that looked, my only real option is to take it back probably to those buds there, and I would imagine that may even be more appropriate to take those ones, but it's higher on the tree, so I'll actually take those ones, bring it up here. Again, we look at this one. We've got one here that's going back in on itself. I don't want those. Clean up rough edges, stuff that's no good. And then we've really just got this. Just got a couple of buds on it. The main growth really for this one is actually underneath it, and I may be inclined to just remove that. By doing that, I'm actually clearing the way for 2 buds here to bring out and fill that space. And sometimes it's really hard because you've got this lovely old growth which is going across, and you think actually that's really nice, but it's limiting the tree. It's never going to be able to go forward. All it's going to do is encroach future growth. So sometimes you're going to remove older stuff to make more room for the newer stuff that'll make the tree better.
I could honestly say that things can only get better.
So I'm going to continue to go around and trim this up, looking to see length. We've got a little bud there and another bud probably half a centimetre further away, ideal. Okay, well I've got myself around up to the apical side, brought it right in here. We've got this little bit here that's going downwards, not quite sure where that's going yet, but there's some nice buds that are going to come out, so I'm happy to give that a go and see how it looks for a year or so, and it may well be that I'll eventually trim the bottom off. All the way around, really we're trimming to profile and looking at every opportunity to get the best ramification points for the secondary branching. Some of these might be a little bit longer, but again I still want to allow this larch to get loads of energy, and it needs needles for that, because that's for better root growth. We're at the apex, and to be fair, at this stage of development the apex is absolutely easy. I'm certainly not going to be looking at wire to create my crown, so all I'm going to be doing is like here, where we've got Got a mess of stuff here that I'm just going to clean off. There we go. We've got something coming off to the side, up, side, and then we've really got this whole conglomeration here. Got one here, and then one that's going to go straight up. So I want the straight up one. So we'll take off that top bit there. Under here I've actually got some longer pieces, but I just want to get a nice thicker growth there. And we've just got this one apical bit left, really. So again, all I'm going to do is look for, there's two buds close in. There isn't. The first bud for this one is up here, so I'm going to cut it all the way back to the wall and get two buds coming up. Just spin it round. We've got a nice cover here and up here, and that's, for me, that's quite a good development going on for that that canopy. And it's very, very interesting with this clumpy sort of odd shape, but I like it. So that's really all the pruning I'll do now. I will watch it and maybe we'll be revisiting it again in another 6 weeks' time. Go on then, everyone wants to know. I had some nice thick growth. This is this year's growth, hardened off, so certainly semi-hardwood cuttings. Can I do cuttings on larch? If you've watched any of my videos, you know that my success rate so far, out of all the probably tens and tens, even hundreds of cuttings I've done, it's a grand total of 2. I don't know how they lived, but they did. Both of them are actually in forest groups. But every year I'll do 15 or 20 like this, and all I'll do is remove all this bottom growth. Careful not, I mean I do it more gently because I don't want to strip the bark. I'll use my shears. Probably something like this. Cut that, dip it in some rooting hormone, into some potting medium, and it'll be basically a vermiculite and compost mix. Put that in. It'll either be in a humidity tray or I'll put it in a plastic bag and see what happens. I've taken again some this year. Whether they take, I don't know, but that you'll probably see or will have seen by now. So you tell me in the comments whether they took. So until I see you again in a few seconds. Well, would you believe it? It's the 31st of August now, and you've only just seen me put this away.
Put it away!
Well, this has now been sitting here for at least 5, maybe 6 weeks, and it brings up a really interesting point. We keep talking, well I keep talking about, you know, there's potentially 4 pruning cycles for this Japanese larch, one of them being in the early spring, of course, before we've got foliage. But there's me hoping we'd get a 3rd shot at this. Well, here's the reality. Come in close and I'll show you. Yeah, sometimes you just don't get that growth. Now, this probably looks practically exactly the same as when you only just saw it. You know, some years you get the buds to push out and give you that extra growth. In this case, I've had no push at all anywhere around the tree. Tells me one thing. The tree said, thanks very much for doing all that destruction to me. So it's basically said, hey, this is enough growth for me. I'll leave it and I'll see what I can give you in 2025. So truthfully, there will be no 3rd flush for this one. It will be left happily to its own devices. I'll make sure it's been fertilised. I'll put some bone meal around it, and I think we'll see this in the spring, probably 2025. So although this hasn't had a 3rd prune, that doesn't mean that there isn't something else we could perhaps look at to show what I might do at the end of August, because I reckon we need to revisit my Cloud Larch, which I don't think we've seen at all in 2024. It's been very slow and ponderous, so it's actually going to get only just 1 prune.
Prune again.
But before we do that, hey, I mentioned some cuttings I took of this, and do you want to see how they're doing? It's only 5 or 6 weeks later, but well, maybe there's a bit of hope. So yeah, here they sit in the humidity tray. I can tell it's a humidity tray because I can see all the humidity bubbles in there. But let's have a peek under the lid and just see if there's any larch left. So just get that off. And just for information, we've got a couple of Ginkgo still in here. I've got some Trident maples, a few of them, and this is what you're seeing. Actually, the Japanese maple, they're still green. No guarantee they'll make it through the year, but at least they're green now. Larch, yeah, there's definitely been some growth there. A little bit of growth there. And on the shoot ends here, there definitely seems to be some bursting out. Now, from my experience, that's no guarantee that they've rooted. But it's better than them looking that colour, which is brown bread. So, we'll see. We'll have a look at these next year and see if we've actually got any rooted cuttings from them. Tridents there are looking okay though. Be happy if that works out, as with these. In fact, we've got some Tridents in here as well. Looking about 50% at the moment. So yeah, here it is. As I say, I haven't actually touched it this year, and it's got such a great pad growth on it. I'll show you from the tops in a second, but all I need to do, if we've got some great big long runners to basically that have gone off, I'm just going to clip them back to profile basically and then leave it. This is the lowest of the pads, and it's come out so far. I mean, if you go back to the original for this in the Larch playlist, these were just like half the size out, and there's so much ramification here. But look here, we've got an internal branch, got some stuff up here, but really this isn't going to form any part of it unless I bring it up and wire it above. For now, don't need to do that. I'm just going to go to, there's a couple of buds here, let's just cut back to that, let's just keep that pad filled in. In fact, I'm actually going to go back further, don't like that. So that's filled that in. Again here, pad's coming out quite a long way. Probably don't want this, so I've got a bud in here. I quite like the look of that, so we'll get rid of that. I won't want this one here, but I'll leave that for now. We've got this one here, side pad, 1, 2 buds there, they're the ones I want. And again, we've got this coming all the way out. Probably won't want all this up here, but for now, I'm just looking back in here to see any decent buds I want, and I've got 2 up here, so I'm just going to cut to there for now. Lovely cover on it. We've got something that's poking up, but underneath it, I've got this bud here. So they're going, in fact, looking at that, that's actually going to be crossing this lower branch. So let's just get rid of that now. And then same here, we've got this one coming out. We've got an outer one here. Probably want to take that all the way back. Take this one back to an appropriate set of buds further back in. Here, same one, we're just going to reduce the length of this. Just see where I've got some nice buds on it. Probably all the way back to there. And this one too. Take that back a bit, and there we go. And that whole pad section there, and finally this one here. A few more here. And then just look at the back. Okay, and that is that whole pad done. So really happy with how this has grown out, absolutely incredible. I'm going to do the same up here, and probably that'll be it for this episode of A Year in the Life of Larch Growth. No, it wasn't the same larch all the way through, but you know, that's part and parcel of doing bonsai. That's part and parcel of the design fun. Sometimes the tree doesn't give you everything you want. You just need to be ready for it. So I'm going to cut these back a lot further because I want these pads to be out in proportion to the rest of the tree. So these will be further out, these will be closer in. And I'm just going to prune back again where I can see some nice buds. Now that doesn't mean these buds are actually going to push out this year, but they're going to be set for next year. And when all the foliage comes off, I'll also get a chance to do a little bit of clean up, perhaps even do some wiring. Oh, anyway, if you've enjoyed this year in the life of my larch, please, big thumbs up. He says, trying to put the glasses into his face. If you think anyone else might benefit from this, then please share this. Otherwise, I say subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of content. And again, these trees keep reappearing.
I wish they wouldn't keep doing that.
So if there's a particular tree that you like, one, go and have a look in the playlist. Two, hit bell notifications, because that way you can at least keep an eye out for anything that's coming up that may well actually grab your interest. Because there's no guarantee that Google algorithm will actually put this in front of you if you just wait. So let's just keep doing this. But apart from that, I wish you all the best. Enjoy as we move now firmly into the end of summer, autumn. Got some great repots coming up. Yeah, I've got a Himalayan spruce. I've also got Picea, Tony's tin can Picea to do. And, well, loads of other stuff. Anyway, happy bonsaiing. God bless you, cheers. There's a thumbs up.